marshmallows and would come out and sit on the step and eat them. Isn't it sad to see it falling away? And I'm trespassing on someone's property to take this, but this little shed here, Mom used to keep ducks in, and she had rabbits in there too at one time. And look, this, I don't know if they burned it down or if it was falling down, but this was a shed. Us kids used to play in it. I can remember one time Uncle Johnny was here, was on a Sunday, and the wind was blowing really, really hard, and it was starting to blow the shed over. And so Uncle Johnny and Dad tied the shed to the bumper of the car to keep it from blowing over, and it pulled the car up in the air. And down here, this was our chicken house. Mom had chickens, and we had goats. And back in the trees back there, there used to be an orchard, and we used to play in the fruit trees. In this little shed here. It doesn't seem as big as it did back when I was a kid. But we had a big tree. There was a big tree somewhere right in here, and we had a tree house in it. And we used to, we played in that tree house so much. And there's an outhouse. We used that, believe it or not. The house that had a bathroom when we lived here. And this shed here was the wash house where Mom washed her clothes. She had an old Ringer washer, and I can remember when she got a brand new washer and dryer. See the old windmill that used to run, and that it seems like there was, maybe we had a horse tank there. As I remember, my dad smoked those cigars with the little plastic tips on them, and we would save those and then blow bubbles. This little hill here, I think it was a bigger hill back when I was a kid, and this is where I learned to ride a bicycle. And Jeff and I were having a bicycle race down this hill, and he cut off in front of me. And that shed right back there, that was a rabbit shed. Mom and Dad raised Angora rabbits in there. And anyway, it had wooden blocks for the steps. And Jeff cut across in front of me. I was just learning how to ride a bike, and I wasn't very good at it yet. And Jeff ran across in front of me, and I hit those steps, and I went over the handlebars and landed on the steps right on my tailbone. And I think I must have broke my tailbone. I remember Mom made me go to school the next day. I couldn't hardly walk, and we were having a track meet, and I knew I wouldn't be able to run because I couldn't hardly walk. And I didn't want to go to school, and Mom told me I had to. She said, just tell the teacher. And I was so embarrassed. Oh my God, tell the teacher that I had a broken ankle. I couldn't tell the teacher that. There used to be a gate right here. because there was a fence all the way around the yard, and there used to be a gate right here, and steps going up to the house. And this is where I set the bucket of eggs down to open the gate and knocked my bucket of eggs over. I took off running, and Mom, see those windows right there? That's the kitchen, or was back when we lived there. Mom was watching out the kitchen window and saw me. I knew I was gonna get a licking. And here's the cellar. I can remember Mom and Dad getting us up in the middle of the night because of a storm and taking us to the cellar. And we'd have to hold hands, all of us in a line. And we'd have to hold hands to the cellar. And Mom kept canned goods and stuff down here. And there was a bat that hung in the cellar door. And she'd make us go down there to get stuff, and I was always afraid that bat was gonna get me. And it seems like there used to be more trees like in this area. And one summer it was hot. I think Dad must have been out shearing or something. And wasn't home much. Well, there used to be a water tank underneath. We had a water tank underneath this tree. That was our swimming pool. But back in those trees back there, Mama built us a lean-to out of wool sacks. And she come in and told us there was a surprise for us outside. And we went out there, and there was a lean-to. That was our playhouse for the summer. And back in the way back there, I don't know if you can see it, that was the milk barn. And we would go get the cows in the pasture, and every evening we'd go out and get the cows, and we'd bring them back, and Mom would milk the cows. There used to be a fence around there too, and that's where, when we had horses, we would put the horses in there. And I don't know if you can still see the old barn or not. Oh, we used to play in that barn. We had so much fun. I hope that I don't get in trouble for being here, but I just wanted to show you guys. You can kind of see the barn back in the trees back there. But there used to be a fence here, and Dad had cows down in there. And we used to ride the trailer when Dad fed the cows. And there was this trail that goes down over here, was the trail to the pasture. And I don't know if there's even still. Oh, look, it almost looks like the outhouse has been burned on the inside. But there was a big tree here, right here somewhere, that we had a tree house in. And that little shed right there, Mom had made that into a playhouse for us. And we played in that. We had a little table in there, and some bumblebees moved in, and they would chase us. I remember I got stung about right here. We were running from the bumblebees, and the bumblebees got us. But this trail right here led to the pasture, and there was a pond over there. It looks like they've got something over there now. I don't know what it is. looks like this has been burned. But this is where I lived from the time I was 4 until I was in the 3rd grade, and we moved to Byron. But some of my happiest memories growing up was here on this farm, and I still can hardly drive past it without having to stop. And since I've been here in the last 15 years, I've just watched it fade away. It won't be long before there will be nothing here. But it was such a beautiful place when I was a child, and it almost brings tears to my eyes. I don't know if you can tell, but the driveway's barely there anymore, but it's a little ways off of the road. Let me see if I can blow it up so you can see. We used to have track meets amongst us, and the mailbox, I think you can kind of still see where the mailbox was. And so you'd have to go get the mail every day. And I loved going to get the mail, because if you were at the mailbox when the mailman came, he always had candy. One time I was coming back from the mailbox and a bee landed on me, and I got scared that the bee was gonna sting me. So I sit down. I sit down about right in here, and I was afraid to move for fear that bee was gonna get me. Finally, Mom comes looking for me, and she goes, "Where are you? Where have you been, and what are you doing?" I said, "There's a bee on my back." She looked, and there was no bee on my back. One time we were having races up and down the driveway, and we were having our own track meet. Ben was there even when I was a kid. My bedroom, this was Mom and Dad's bedroom, where you see the windows. On the other side of that is where Charlene's and I bedroom was, and then the boys were upstairs. But anyway, we were having a track meet, and Mom had ducks in this shed. Can you see the shed? Mom had ducks in this shed, and like with anything, there's always a runt of the bunch, and there was one that was getting beat up really bad, and Mom hollered at me, and she says, "Susan, I got something for you." And she hands me a paper bag, and I open the bag, and there's a baby duck in there. And I had a baby duck and a baby chicken in that little house I told you that was the playhouse. That's where I kept them, and I took care of them until they were big enough that they could go on their own. And we had sheep. There was sheep everywhere. And whenever Daddy would have one that the mama died or something, he would let us kids take it and raise it. We would bottle feed it. And when we moved from here, Charlene and Jeff and I, all three had a sheep that we had raised from a lamb. And Dad said when he sold them on the auction that we would get the money for it. We never did get the money for it. But I went shearing with Dad one time, and my sheep was in the herd there, and the farmer pointed out that that was mine. And I had another one that I called her Mary Had a Little Lamb, and my grandma and grandpa took it. I don't know what happened to it after that. But anyway, this is where I grew up, I was in the 3rd grade. But to me, this is always my home because I have the happiest memories here. And I just wanted to share that with you. I hope you get something out of it. Maybe someday you can tell your kids that that's where my mama grew up. I love you guys. Bye.